Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Master Division with the qualifying round win for the Northshore Tournament here in Golf Clash the game. Video sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, and before we start make sure that you do hit that thumbs up button. Also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. You can get the ultimate tournament guides for Master Division or for Pro and Expert by going to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. We now also offer exclusive tour text guides, so if you're looking to get the best of both worlds to improve both your tournament play and tour play, you go to patreon.com/golfclashtommy, link directly in the description down below. Follow the info box on the right hand side to get the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also what ball and club type I suggest you to play with. Have in mind that those are all suggestions and you don't have to follow it if you don't want to, but there is always a plan behind it. So let's go to hole number 1. On hole number 1, we're going to start with any type of power 3 ball that you do have. This to find complete max distance, red ring to the right by the rough line with a POC 7 and a POC 8. If you play with a POC 5 or a POC 6, 1/3 of the red ring inside the rough to the right. 8 bars of topspin, 1 bar side spin to the right after we have changed to a luminary, but we can play with basically whatever. Wind 3, power 5 side spin 2 ball. The Baba ball comes to mind as well. Max plus 10 power 5 ball is what we are adjusting, and once we have done that, we shall then apply curl. The curl should be 0.75 ball right, so 3/4 of a ball outside the ring to the right. If you do play with Apocalypse level 6, we recommend to go with 1 ring of overpower. Apocalypse level 5, we do recommend to go with 2 rings of overpower instead. We do want to have the ball to roll down as far as possible basically, but looking to be somewhere around 390 to 395. From there, we're gonna play with a Falcon, a Thorn, a Hornet, doesn't really matter what club. Go with the club that do have the best accuracy combined with ball guideline. 2 bars of left spin, top spin to pin, and ball. The target should be in complete minimum distance of our club. What we then are looking for here now when we are adjusting is that we shall adjust minimum distance with a 30% over adjustment, power 4 ball numbers, okay? So going based on that, we will, with a perfect, I would say that we will drop this one basically every single time. And it feels nice to start off with playing with a free-to-play ball, because yeah, we can actually call the Luminary a free-to-play ball, as you do win that in a winner's chest, or like in a weekend round chest in Master. Nice little drop here. So once again, minimum distance, 30% elevation, plus 0.1 power 4 ball numbers is the adjustment for the second shot. For hole number 2, we're going to play with a lavender ball, which has the same stat as the 3-point ball suggested in the info box. We do play a no movement here, which is going to give us 5 bars of top spin and half a bar of side spin to the left. The no movement doesn't give us a top spin and the side spin, but that is the spin that we're going to use. Once that is done, we shall apply max plus 15% power 3 ball numbers and then try to hit. Perfect ball, and the ball is then going to bounce nicely on the fairway, and now 1 or 2 things can happen. 1, we can get this rollout that we actually are looking for to get to 380 yards approximately. Then we do have the dead bounce, which could get us to around 370, and we shall still play with the same type of slider. The only correction that we're going to make is that if we have a short drive, we shall always apply 0.2 left spin for our second shot, and instead of going without spin completely. 1.7 bars of top spin, look for the second bounce into the rough halfway, and then ball guideline short of pin. You can see that ball guideline curves, so it's very important that you're pointing it so it looks like it's gonna miss right, but the ball is once again gonna curve down left and hopefully then get to a drop. +1 I do adjust here in the video a little bit more than what we should be doing. Our estimated slider is 59% with 10%, 59% slider with 10% elevation is what we are looking to use based on the result here after this shot. We bounce nicely into the rough, so that's no problem, but we do miss to the right. So we need to have a little bit less adjust when it comes to this shot, then we're gonna have a good chance dropping an albatross on hole 2. Hole number 3, start with a navigator. That's a tip from me, because then you can find the max position with a power 1 ball combined with getting the right spin. Because here we start with a power 1 ball in max position. We're gonna go 1.7 backspin, 1 bar of left spin. And here you can see that I do have the NASCAR ball, which is a power 2, but that's because the replay is messy, because I changed to a power 2 ball after I've set up my shot. Because that is also recommended. Because you can, if being unlucky, having a headwind angle on this shot. And if you're having a headwind angle on this shot, you will pull into overpower, and that's just going to be a mess. So I would strongly advise you to change from a power 1 to a power 2 ball to make sure that you're not going to have that problem. Obviously, if you don't have or don't want to do that, then just take the risk that would be. Adjust max plus 25, power 0 numbers. A great ball left is fine, a minor great right is also fine, but a double great left will be bunker, double great right will miss the rough and go on the back end of the green. So we do take a risk, but this has been a high percentage drop from us in the team, and therefore we continue with that one and go with this one as our not one time, but go with this one as our main suggestion. For hole number 4, we shall use as much topspin possible with our Apocalypse. I will give you some instructions for those of you that do have Apocalypse 5 or 6. Start at the plus 6 yard mark, white ring completely inside the rough with Apocalypse 7 and 8. 1/3 of the 4th ring, the transparent ring, into the rough on the left with Apoc 5 and Apoc 6. Adjust max plus 10, and then we shall apply 3.5 ring of overpower with Apoc 7 and Apoc 8. When it comes to Apoc 6, 4.5 ring of overpower. And when it comes to Apoc 5, max overpower with a Wind 5 ball. You can play this shot with a Power 4 Wind 4 ball as well. Then what I would do there is to, if I do have wind above 9.3 miles per hour, I would increase the overpower 1 extra ring. So 4.5 ring of overpower for Apoc 7 and Apoc 8. And then Apocalypse 6 would go max overpower. Apocalypse 5 would also go max overpower, but with the highest wind with Wind 4, Apoc 5 will struggle here on this headwind. Now we will always be in around 362, and now we're going to try to do a pin check as first. And this pin check is going to be +1 when we are looking for it there. Now always to have the red ring by the rough line, 3.9 bars of topspin is what we're gonna do, and then we're gonna take a look at what we are gonna do as adjustments. So based on a pin check on this hole, we shall be applying the +1 yard mark is referencing a 33% slider, 30% elevation. We do also have another reference that if you do have a great left, you will most likely be outside plus yardage, which means that you don't really have a reference and gonna have to either guess or find another reference. So what we have done there is to go to the back of the fringe, like to the start of the back of the fringe, and read the plus yardage there. Let's say that the start of the back fringe would be +1 as well, then we'll play 1% slider only. So again, you know, we're gonna have a different type of reference to go with here for this hole, but no matter if we hit great left, great right, or perfect, we're still gonna be covered by any type of reference here for hole number 4. Hole number 5, we play a no movement drive. Max topspin, 2 bars of left spin, and here we're going to choose a ball based on what wind we're going to have. I would say with Apocalypse 7 and 8, we do want to have between 12 and 13.5 miles per hour. So what I will do is that I will switch between a Wind 2 and a Wind 3 ball Power 5. So either a Rose Ball or a Luminary if I would be having a high wind. If I do play with Apocalypse level 6, we would recommend to have a little bit, stronger wind in general, which is gonna be between 13.5 miles per hour and 15 miles per hour is what we're looking for there. So I will change between a Wind 1 ball and a Wind 2 ball, so a Berserker ball or a Rose ball type. If Apocalypse level 5 is gonna be between 14.5 and 16.1 miles per hour, or 16 miles per hour if possible, so a Berserker ball, if having a low wind with a Berserker ball, change to some type of snow globe. Again, this to always get down to the fairway like we're doing there. Now we're gonna do a pin check. Again, the pin check is lovely, and we have it just at the maximum here, which is plus 11. And from plus 11 with the Falcon 8, we're gonna play 46% slider. Have in mind that if you do play with the Thorn level 9, you play the same slider. The problem with the Thorn though is that you don't have the topspin for it. So please don't use the Thorn. Remove that one already from your bag before you start. Ball guideline left of left of cup, very important. No elevation, 46% slider, power 5 ball numbers is what we're using here now for the second shot. Falcon 7, you add 3% extra slider. That's the same with Falcon level 6. If you do play with the Hornet, you do the same numbers as Falcon 6 and 7. So again, add 3% extra slider for Falcon 6 and 7 and Hornet. Right? I think we have covered it all. But obviously, Falcon 8, we're gonna play with 46% slider as a reference from plus 11. For hole number 6, we shall start with a ball that do have no side spin, because we do want to just get ourselves 3.5 bar backspin. Then we change to basically whatever Wind 5 ball we may want to use. In my book, I would go with one of the most that is frequent to purchase in Golf Clash, which is a Power 2 or a Power 1 ball. 1/4 of the inner ring outside the rough with the ball guideline to the hole after added 3.5 bar backspin. Now, we're gonna take a look at the boat. You see the boat in the background? If it points to the mast to the left, we shall adjust 1:1 plus 0.1. If it points to the center, in between the two masts, or the center of the boat, we shall go 1:1 adjustment. And if we do go and point towards the right side of the mast, we should go 1:1 minus 0.1. And this is based on, wind angle tweaks, which has worked really, really well for this hole. We want to have in mind, though, when it comes to this hole, that, you need to be very perfect with your pull and with your centering into the adjustment ring. If you have a little curl, a little power or under power, that will affect the shot. So the reason it says max plus 0 in the info box is because max plus 0 power 4 is 1:1 with the quarterback. Good chance for an hole-in-one, I must say that, because I've been very close and already had a couple of people that do have our guides that have dropped an hole-in-one on this shot, which makes me happy, obviously. But this is not gonna be one where it's gonna drop all the time, but it's definitely going to be around the hole every single time if you do the adjustment properly. First, we start at max distance, the bullseye to be just by the edge of the rough. Doesn't matter if it's a POC 5, 6, 7 or 8, same position. Once we have adjusted max plus 10, we push up to plus 20, always. Every single time, always. Then we shall apply 3 bars of right spin every single time. I know I said that. So 3 bars of right spin every single time. And for a 17.6 miles per hour, we go approximately 2.2 bars of backspin. Max overpower with slow needle, max curl to the left, and then the ball is gonna be on the green. And if we would be closer towards the pin, it would have fallen down to the right, and we would maybe have got ourselves on a hole-in-one if we would be lucky. Again, you need to be lucky to get a hole-in-one on a par 4. What you need to have in mind though is like we played with a tailwind angle here. If you do have more crosswind on your drive, you need to remove some backspin. And I would recommend as a base, you know, looking at our table here, 17.2 miles per hour, go with 2.3 bars of backspin, and then remove 0.3 if you do have a crosswind angle. Again, that's up to you to make those notes, and obviously those are the notes that we do have in the guide, because it's impossible to list up everything here on the playthrough, but obviously in a more text guide it's easier to have. This, once again, should be a simple eagle for you nonetheless, and we want to, what can I say, want to go for the hole-in-one. For hole number 8, we want to start in complete minimum distance with a power 3, side spin 1, wind 5 ball. 6 bars of backspin, 1 bar of left spin. Now we're looking for the tip of the ball guideline to be pointing basically towards the left side of the cup. But, you know, you can see here, it's more or less centered into the top left corner of that dark green square. And, you know, might be tough to see, but, you know, once you set it up here, zoom in, take a screenshot when you're in practice mode, because I would recommend to go a practice on this one. Complete minimum distance adjustment is minimum distance with a 35% elevation, power 4 ball numbers. Obviously, there's wind angle tweaks in play, and you need to adapt for that as well. Center the ball, and I would recommend here to actually switch to another wind 5 ball if you have the time. But if you don't have the time, just go with the ball that you do have. But if you have the time, it would be very helpful for you to change that and save this power 3, wind 5, side spin 1 ball, because those are very valuable. In my opinion, this is a very good chance for a drop. For hole number 9, we're going to start by playing with the rock. And the rock level 8 or level 9 is the club that I want us to focus at. Start at complete max, blue ring by the rough line to the right. 4.5 bar top spin, 2 bars of side spin to the right. You see here I'm mixing around a little bit, and then we get there. So I do play with a Kingslayer. You can play with a Centurion. You can also play with a Kingmaker if you want to here on this hole. But I do think there is value to reduce the wind, especially for the second shot, as we're gonna have a lot of rings to pull. Max plus 10 power 3 numbers, and adjust that, and we shall apply curl. 1.5 ball curl to the right. Try to hit perfect, and what we're looking for here now is to have the glitch rollout, which would take us to approximately 385 to 390 yards. That's somewhere where we want to be. One other thing that can happen is that you do get dead bounces. Then you will get only like 375, but you will still reach with your sniper without a problem. It's just that you're gonna have to have a slightly different position. Now, no spin whatsoever here, and what I'm looking for here now is, you know, I'm gonna zoom in on the top of the ball guideline in a little bit. So I'm gonna have the third bounce just by the fringe, trying to have the tip of the ball guideline pointing straight at pin. Obviously, that's hard to visualize when we are so far behind the pin, or like so far before the pin. 4 green squares before the pin is approximately where I'm looking at, but it shall be no spin, and then we shall use the plus yardage. So here, just to give you a reference, when it comes to the plus yardage, and we're gonna use, where do we have that one then? We're gonna take that one there. I'm just gonna open that one up. So I give you the correct notes. See here now, like we bounced there on the fringe, rolls lovely right at pin for an albatross. What we're using as reference, if you are at +5 with your target, we played 80% slider, 15% elevation. So +5 equals 80% slider, 15% elevation, and then you have a good chance for an albatross. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Master Division with the qualifying round win for the Northshore Tournament here in Golf Clash the Game. Get the ultimate tournament guides for Master, the most detailed and best guides there is out there, period. Check them out. A link to patreon.com/golfclashtommy is directly in the description down below. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and good luck in your Golf Clash game.